Thank you for being with us to talk about this horrific case. McFadden pulled the trigger. No one is disputing that. He is to blame for this horrific crime and taking innocent lives. But some say that he should not have been out of prison in the first place. And at the very least, that people in this community should have known that he was living among them and near and close to kids. Did the system fail these girls? Did the system fail their families?
Hey, Marni, great to be back with you. What a heartbreaking story. When I saw your interview with Mr. Brewer, I was shaken up because I'm a single parent of a teen that's not a lot older than Brittany. And I will tell you that the system failed in two regards. First of all, make no mistake about it, McFadden should not have been on the street. The Oklahoma Department of Corrections needs to answer to the community. And I hope you have somebody from their department on your show. Here's why. He was convicted in 2003 of raping, like you said, a 17-year-old, right? He got 20 years. So there's usually an 85% rule in Oklahoma. You serve 85% of a sentence, which takes him to 2020, and then you're eligible for parole. But I looked at the parole criteria, and if there's an incident 2 to 3 years prior to your parole, he shouldn't have been released from parole. That's in their own criteria. And he was charged in 2017, get this, while he's in jail with a cell phone texting nude pictures to another teen. So the Department of Corrections has some answers as to why he didn't stay in jail. And then secondly, what happened at this parole hearing, Marni, in 2020? Were the parents of the girl that was raped, were they notified? Were they at that hearing? Were the parents of the girl that was sexting with him while in jail, were they at that hearing? And why was he released in 2020? He shouldn't have been. He should have stayed in jail until that trial took place last week.
We know now he was a risk to others. He took his own life. So once he's released, that next step, which was wrong according to the families and anybody who is hearing it for the first time, he should have remained behind bars. But once he's out, what is the supervision? What are the checks and balances with somebody like this who is a danger?
Yeah, so two issues here. What were the terms of his parole? We need transparency in this case. I mean, we're all child advocates, and this has to change. Tell the community, tell your show, what were the terms of McFadden's parole? Where's his parole officer? Have him on your show. And by the way, Marni, McFadden was deemed an aggravated sex offender in Oklahoma because of that rape in 2017. Why is that important? He was supposed to be staying in touch with his parole officer every 3 months, letting that parole officer know where he was, what he's doing. So what supervision was given on McFadden? And then let's talk about this other issue of notifying Mr. Brewer and Ivy Webster's family. Do you know that the population in this town where this murder happened is about 6,000 people? The law needs to be changed in Oklahoma. How it stands now is that the State Department of Corrections delegates to the local authorities to notify the community when a registered sex offender comes to town. But it uses the word may in the law. It allows it to be discretionary. That needs to be changed immediately to shall. They must notify everybody in that town, in the community, and it's the local law enforcement, Okmulgee County and Sheriff's Department. They really should have notified everybody in that town of McFadden's presence, but the law absolutely needs to be changed to shall and not may. This can't be discretionary.
And I know Brittany's father wants to work with local lawmakers and state legislatures to make that type of change. As the system stands now, what is the notification? Is it incumbent on people in that community and others to look at the registry? And then secondly, is the registry accurate and up to date?
Yeah, great point, Marni. If you may have kids. I have a daughter. Like I said, I'm going to check that registry. So just so everybody knows watching your show, in every state you have a registered sex offender registry, so you can check that. Like in California, we go one step further, and we've got Megan's Law, where we're notified of registered sex offender if you live in a certain community. But Marni, this isn't brain surgery. Why can't we have universal laws that local and/or state authorities will notify people within, let's say, a 5 to 10 mile radius when a registered sex offender is released from jail? This isn't hard. I mean, when there's elections, we get deluged with literature in the mail, notifications to vote for people. Why can't we have a nationwide system making it mandatory that people are notified by state and or local officials, especially here with an aggravated sex offender? Send us a note in the mail or give us a text message like when you get Amber Alerts on your phone. Here is a Megan alert for McFadden being released from jail, and he's a registered sex offender. This has to change nationwide.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.